All right, so heading out on a little 10-minute walk here. I got a question from a guy on my email list the other day about, I don't remember the exact words, but it was about things I wish I would have known sooner in regards to my business and copywriting and all that kind of stuff. So while I'm on my walk, just kind of want to spitball and share some of the things I wish I would have gotten to sooner, things I would have known sooner, things that took me 10 years to learn that I try to teach guys now who are younger, who are just kind of getting started. So let's start with the first one. The power of actually having a mentor or a coach, I would say is probably the biggest thing that I wish I would have done sooner. So when I started out, I was doing affiliate marketing and I made decent money. I mean, when I was started, I literally started in college. So when I started, I was making like if I made a sale, that was a big deal. I eventually got it to the point in college where I was making like 300, 400, 500 bucks a month, which at the time was really, really good money for me. Basically, basically meant I didn't have to get a normal job in college like a bunch of my friends. And so at the time that was cool, that worked. But I kind of was on that path for like 2 to 3 years. And then when I went kind of full time doing online marketing after I graduated college, I was still barely scraping by. I mean, I was making like 2 grand a month. So I mean, I was living in an apartment that cost $200 a month. Uh, so the amount of time I wasted really is kind of the point I want to talk about. The amount of time I wasted trying to figure out things by myself instead of literally just paying someone or doing every damn thing I could to get someone to teach me what to do was actually really stupid, because when you think about it from an investment and an ROI standpoint, if I would have paid someone, I don't know, let's say a couple grand to teach me what to do, the ROI on that, instead of making 20 grand a month, I probably would have made, or I mean 20 grand a year, I would have probably made 50 grand a year pretty easily, if not a lot more. So the ROI on that, on me investing in a coach or investing in some type of mentor, consulting, whatever it is, would have been huge. Uh, and I saw that firsthand when I started working with David Deutsch. So I learned all about copywriting on my own. I was self-taught. I bought a bunch of courses. I bought books. I studied controls. And then one day I decided I wanted to get like really, really good at copywriting. And I was kind of talking to some people. I was like, who's like an A-list copywriter you would hire for like one-on-one coaching? And someone wound up introducing me to David Deutsch. This was back in like 2000, I don't know, 13, 14, somewhere in there. And David and I wound up working together for probably a year and a half, maybe 2 years. And I ponied up a lot of money to work with him. At the time, I think I was spending like 25 grand a year to work with David. And I was making good money at that time. I mean, I was making 150 to 200 grand a year, but still 25 grand out of that is a pretty big chunk of money. Uh, but seeing with my own eyes the results I got from working with David was well worth it, because my income literally went from about 200 grand a year, like I said, to I was basically stuck at 200 grand a year for a couple of years. Uh, and it went from about 200 grand a year. Then I took a huge leap the first year that Patriot Power Greens took off, and I made about 750 grand that year. And the year after that, then I took another huge leap, and I think I made around 2.1 or 2.2 million. So massive leaps. All of that was really due to me being able to write front end offers that actually converted on cold traffic. And a lot of that I owe to David, because I would not have been able to do that without the help I got from David. It's kind of one of those things, like, you don't know what you don't know, where I thought I was doing stuff right, and I thought I was doing the principles that I'd read in copywriting books, but then when I got actual real feedback from David, that completely changed the way I wrote. So to kind of bring this back, yeah, the number one thing I would have done sooner, and the number one thing that I wish I wouldn't have waited on, was getting a coach, getting a mentor, getting help. I used to be very hesitant to do this because obviously when people sell coaching and sell masterminds and stuff like that, it's obviously in their best interest to tell you to get a coach. So I was always hesitant to it because I'm like, yeah, obviously you want to sell me coaching because you're going to make money from it. But the reality is it cuts off so much time and it increases the ROI on it. As long as you're working with a good coach and knows what the hell they're doing, the ROI on it is massive. Like if you're paying them, doesn't matter if you're paying them $5,000 a year or $50,000 a year. The ROI on it is massive, and you make more money quicker than you would kind of stubbornly trying to figure it out yourself. I'll give you another example. So my two copy cubs, Tanner and Alec, both write mostly email stuff. They have a couple clients each. Tanner and Alec, I've talked about this on my emails before. They literally had no experience whatsoever with copywriting, internet marketing, nothing. So when I met them, Tanner was literally a store manager at Abercrombie and Fitch. Alec was a financial advisor at Fidelity. So they had no idea about copywriting, no idea about sales, nothing. And within a few months, I'm walking through a big jungle here. Within a few months, I basically put them on a program where they had to write emails every single day. This is the beauty of Austin here. They had to write emails every single day, and I gave them feedback on those emails. And over like I said, the course of about 3 to 4 months, I finally told them when they got to the spot where I felt they were ready. I was like, okay, you're ready to take on clients now. Both of them, if they had not had me as a mentor or a coach, would they be successful? Yeah, I think they would have figured it out probably eventually. It may have taken them 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. They're both pretty ambitious, so I think they would have got there eventually. But what was really kind of eye-opening was to see if you could take someone, if someone already has ambition, and these are the best people to coach, like if someone has ambition and has drive and they're willing to put into work, someone like me who's coaching them, all I have to do is put them on the right path and give them feedback along the way, and then they're going to get there super, super quick. So you take the two guys I trained, Tanner I think is on pace to make, I don't know, I think like 120 grand this year from copywriting. Alec is somewhere between I think 80 and 100 grand. So I mean, within maybe 1.5 years of doing this, these guys are both making around 6 figures, which is pretty damn impressive. Like I said, you go back and you look at like what I was doing, it took me 4 years, 5 years to get to that. And a lot of that, like I said, boils down to the fact that I was just kind of like, I had this is before there was all kinds of like event, like this was like in 2000, I don't know, 2004, 2003 maybe even. So there was no events, there was no like community like there is now. Trying to find a mentor was hard. Facebook wasn't even what it is, anywhere near what it is now. So yeah, I literally was just learning through trial and error, which can work, but it's also you wind up trying a bunch of shit that someone else could easily, like I could spend a year trying something, whereas someone who's already been there could have easily just been like, oh yeah, don't do that, do this. That's actually one of the biggest benefits of coaching. Like we see this all the time in our Copy Accelerator group, where it's like someone will come to Stefan and I with a project, and they're like, here, we're going to do this, this, and this. And instead of them going on a 6-month chase trying to do this project, like Stefan and I might look at it and be like, we don't really think that's going to work. Like, there's not really a good appeal there, or I think you should do this. Maybe you should do this project instead, or you should do this product. Whatever it is, like, wasting time, wasting energy, wasting money, that's probably one of the biggest things that actually having a mentor, having someone who's been there before you, someone who's done it, that's probably one of the biggest benefits that they can actually provide. So, where am I? I'm getting lost in my own neighborhood. So anyways, to wrap this up, the original question was, what are some of the things I've learned along the way that I wish I would have known sooner? Number one thing would be, like I said, getting a mentor, getting a coach, however you want to phrase that. Doesn't really matter, but someone that could give you real feedback and kind of help prevent you from making the mistakes that kind of everybody falls into. Because, like I said, one of the worst things you can do is just spend 6 months, 8 months, 10 months going down a rabbit hole that's not going to take you anywhere, or building a business that's not sustainable, or building a business that might make you a lot of money, but that you have to work 15 hours a day to keep it running, or building a business that, like, let's say, get you to $100,000 a year, but you can't take it any further than that because it's all dependent on you, and it's like an hours for dollars type thing. So there's all kinds of those issues like that someone who's been there before you can kind of point out and push you down the right direction. I love how every time I do these videos, I'm just out of breath after 10 minutes. It's a lot harder than you think, walking and talking. So anyways, that's going to wrap up the end of this video. So if you don't have a mentor, if you don't have a coach, if you have the money, just pony up the money and get one. 100% smartest thing you can do. If you don't have the money, like I said, beg, borrow, claw your way into somebody's life that can help you. So that would be my advice. Hope you have a good one. Take care.